hold contracts sometimes. I sometimes hold contracts through earnings, but it's based off of different. I've kind of found a pattern, if you will, and tendencies, and I don't do it with a lot of different. I don't do it with a lot of different companies, so I don't trade earnings with everybody. But really, it's a whole lot of things that could get factored in, and I've had a lot of success this year because I got whooped last year, but I was able to. I was just determined to find those patterns and whatnot. And earnings tends to be a good time to catch a good breakout, in a particular direction. So I really just took a lot of time trying to find out, find that little sweet spot, the tendencies of the earnings of the company during this particular quarter. What's the market doing? It's a whole lot of different factors I use, and I've been successful doing that. But ultimately, it's what, and a lot of times the chart will give you, it's kind of like a gimme play. And I'll share, since I made a post on Facebook about it, I hit on Microsoft today. I called Microsoft months ago and said what it was going to do. And once I seen everything that it was doing, once it reached that real high, it hit a high today, a 52-week high today, and things like that, all the other factors, it made me confident in making my play based off of what the charts was going to do. So I know a lot of people say it's gambling or it's risky, and it is, and it is, but just, like we talk about it here all the time, of finding your style of trading. That's definitely a part of my repertoire, and it could be very profitable.
Yeah, I'm more on the fundamental side, and I've seen a lot of people have success with earnings. I've seen some people also get their brains beat out during earnings. So for me, like I used to hold through earnings a lot. And that's because I was only trading two companies, and I would hold through earnings with one of those companies, which was Roku. And when I first started trading Roku, I would hold through earnings every single time, and I would just make an absolute killing. And then I held through earnings last year, right before the pandemic hit. I held through earnings, and I got slapped, and I mean, like mean mug slapped. And then, for the next couple earnings after that, just because I was being hard-headed and thinking my pattern would still work through a pandemic. That was on me. But earnings are it has so many factors. It got layers to it, right? And so when you're looking at earnings, right, it's not just the company, it's the leadership of that company, and it all depends on what kind of company is. Oh my God, I sound like old head. But depending upon what kind of company it is, they're looking for certain things. They're looking for certain things during earnings that you might not be looking for. So like a company like Netflix, they're looking for, are they getting new subscribers, and at the rate their new subscribers are growing, right? So, because their new subscribers didn't grow a lot, they took a dip. They went from 550 all the way down to 500. But because Netflix is a good company, they're going to be back. They're coming right back to that number. So they'll be right back like they never left. But they lost 10% on earnings, right? And it was because of that, simply because of that. And what happened is, because Disney is now looked at like a Netflix competitor, my Disney calls took a hit. My Disney joints took an 8% dip because of Netflix, right? And so, you gotta watch earnings even when it's not the company you're trading. Like, you gotta know what companies, that if you're trading something that has earnings with something nearby or close or corollary, then what happens to that company might just happen to yours. So you got to be. There's a lot of things that happen around earnings. Just as a you know as a matter of course when you're looking at earnings. So just don't look at the companies that you want to trade. Look at the companies that also do something near or similar to those companies, because you might be able, if one run, they might all run, like the airlines or something like that. You know what I mean? Or with like I said, with Netflix and Disney, they looked at like similar. So just as a matter of course, like I like to get in about 2 weeks ahead of time and just ride up, because the volume around earnings pumps up, and if it's a good company, it's going to normally pump to the high side. I don't look at a chart because I've never used a chart in my life. I don't know how to use a chart, and it's not that charting is not great. It's just for me, if I know the patterns, I just play the patterns. And I give myself time. So even if I'm wrong, I'm gonna be right at some point, because I'm picking good companies when I choose my options plays.
That's the key right there. Picking good contracts, right? So for every Microsoft, there's a Tesla. Like Tesla, I was on the wrong end of the Tesla. However, I got a really good contract, whereas I could take a hit and then still catch the uptick and catch it going in the direction that I ultimately feel like it's going to go to. So getting a good contract is key too, as well as what I really like to do with earnings when I tend to hold them is I'll run it all the way up to earnings with a couple of contracts. I'll cash those out, and then I got one. Hey, I'll hold on to one. I'm already up. I'll hold on to one, and that's kind of like, that's why it's a lotto. You only live once, play, and if it pop, great. If it don't pop, so what? You already got money off the other contracts.
That's a nice strategy. That's pretty dope. You know what I mean? But like y'all say all the time, like once you find your trading style, stick to it. Like you gotta, trade your trades. Don't try to trade. Don't try to be somebody else when you trade.
Man,
like when you
that's very key.
Yeah, like when you try to be somebody else when you trade, you don't know all of the factors that they like consider when they're doing their trades. Like they can tell you everything, but you still not them. You still not seeing it through their eyes.
And it's deeper than that, but that will suffice.
Yeah.
I would suggest not to try to emulate anybody in this space. Take what you can from who you can in terms of knowledge and use it to define your strategy and your style and what you're comfortable with. As somebody on here posted, find or create a trading strategy that fits your lifestyle. That's it.
That's Jim. That's all he talked about.
One of the sisters posted that today too. But yeah, that's it.
That's really like literally his whole thing. Like he a lifestyle trader. Like you don't
Because
like
what
to
happened
watch,
is
huh?
you be around here trying to trade like somebody who don't trade for real.
That could also happen.
So it's like something that I picked up on from the By the Hood broadcast or whatever. It is the MCD. I'm sorry, MCD By the Hood broadcast on Sundays. Is when they get on Corey about his weekly plays or whatever. But I'm right there with you, bro. I be saying to myself, "Yeah, grab weekly," because what I'm trying to do is catch a run. I'm trying to catch a run and get somewhere real quick and get out.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm really not trying. Like my thing is, I'm really not trying to hold these plays forever.
Yeah,
So
I don't love them.
yeah. I'm gonna leave it right there. You said what I meant. So,
but that's more tailored to my style. And you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Looking at a June play to get me, $3-4 of uptick or price action in my direction. I mean, that's like, to me, that just ain't gonna suit my style.
Yeah, but I
So
mean, but
everybody's
I
different.
have a lot of those plays too, though. So because I have a lot of those plays and they're just sitting there, right? So when I'm looking at some of these other plays, like I want them joints to pop quick because I already got money tied up in other stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm trying when I'm trading, I want to pop. You know what I mean?
Guess what I'm saying is, that time when you need it, you know, time, maybe I may need more time for it to do what I believe it's going to do. So in those cases, yeah. But if I didn't go, if everything is lined up right and this thing is indicating that it has a chance to pop in my direction, you know, I won't need as much time. So, but that's my style though. But I don't even tell people to trade. Like I wouldn't even give nobody a play like that to trade like I trade. Because they may get burned or whatever. It may not fit their style, and I don't know their style, but I know mine. So I just try to stick to
Yeah,
the things that work for me.
yeah. No, that's perfect. You know what I mean? Like, because I do the same thing. Like when I tried to, do something when I try to trade other people's style, I lose every single time. I just lose because I don't know what they look like. The reason I know not to try to trade everybody's styles because I tried it. And I'm like, man, I can't do this. Like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Like, like why they still in this play or why they not in because I'm not reading charts. I'm not doing any of that. Like I set my stop loss on one side, I set the top side on the other side, and then I let the trade do whatever it do. You know what I mean? Like because I'm getting into a trade based on my fundamental analysis of it, and I'm giving it time to do whatever it do. Like if I have like a leap, I won't set no bottom side right away. I'll set the top side right away at like 100%, and if it go crazy and run, I'll take that 100% right away. But if it don't, then as it gets closer to that 100% on the win side, I'll what I mean, I'll take out if I got multiple contracts, I'll probably take one out or if I don't have multiple contracts, I only got one contract, what I'll do is I'll set a trailing stop on it to make sure I get whatever wins that I want out of it, and then I'll just let it go. So just it all depends on what kind of trader you are, what kind of money you trading with. There's some people who just getting started out. I wouldn't recommend anything I do to people who just starting out, except for buying time. Buy if you're just starting out, you need to buy time.
Add the money.
Add the money. You know what I mean? And then as you get better, as you get more, reps in, then you decide if you want to, shorten those time frames or, like Leslie and Ronnie, they looking at charts. They know what they doing. So they letting it go. They letting their hands go because they got all the information that they need to make those trades. But for me, I couldn't do anything that they do. I can't do it. And it's not, like I
So
said,
you better be there Thursday.
I came last Thursday. What do
I
you
know.
don't be like that.
So I don't believe that anybody can't do it, but I definitely believe that you should do what works for you. But I think some little simple, this is what I will say. Even with fundamental traders, I think that there are some little simple technical analysis concepts that'll help you improve your game on things like entries. And
No, for sure.
is
For sure.
oh no, I'm not debating you or anything, bro. I'm just saying, because I can get in a play, I can give y'all a play, and I can get in the same play, and I've seen it. People will lose, like maybe two people will lose, and seven people will make money. And so a big part of that is, are you just happy-go-lucky jumping in at the open? Are you waiting 7 minutes and jumping in plays? Like, what are you doing? So entries is
Eight
important.
minutes. 8 minutes.
8, okay, sorry, my bad. So I think everybody should have at least like some support and some resistance in their skill set and things like that.
I
Yeah, I'm
mean,
an always wait person. I used to trade the open, but I used to do a lot of things that I think have aged me since I started trading options. So I sit the open out.
Did you say they aged you?
Damn right, bro. But remember, we spoke 6 months ago, and I was saying I just want to trade 1 day a week.
Hey, listen, that's a lifestyle thing. You've changed your
Facts.
lifestyle. So you know what I mean? Like you're going to change as your lifestyle changes. So like for me, like I said, I got the long plays and then I got the, the cover calls and all of that kind of stuff to, to fuel my long-term stuff. But then, like I'm looking at the the money I have in my trading account as like, that's income. I'm getting taxed like that's a job
Mhm.
because I'm going to get taxed like it's a job. So if I'm going to get taxed like a job, I might as well get paid like it's a job.
You won't get taxed probably worse than it. But another thing that I want to just bring up, and I'm not sure if it applies to anybody else. I always suggest that you go take a trading personality test. I'll be giving out a link. I don't benefit anything from that link, but I think it's a good starting point for new traders. What was the other thing that I wanted to say? I don't know. I lost my train of thought, but it'll come back. So if anybody wants that assessment, it's traderstest.com. And they got a whole bunch of tests that'll have you sweating. But by the end of that, I feel like you really do have a good idea of what you should be learning, who you should be talking to, in terms of mentorship and what direction you should be going in as far as starting to develop your strategy. Because it might not be me. Like we got technical analysis courses going on, but why would you come and sit through 6, 7 weeks of that if you're a fundamental trader and charts are gonna make your hair hurt?
All right, but I'm still going to sit through them. This chart's going to make my head hurt. Like I really do have like a form of like ADHD. Like when I see all those lines and squiggles and like it kind of make me ill. I ain't gonna lie. It's like what's going on? Why does all this stuff have to be on here? Why is it 55 lines on here?
Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Okay, so once you take that, this is another reason why I like that. Once you take that, it'll tell you what time frame trader you are. Are you a scalper? Are you a day trader? Are you a scalper? And so one of the problems that I know I ran into was it identify every aspect and every facet as a technical day trader scalper, right? So when I try to kind of diversify my options trade and scalp and day trade, but I got some leaps going on too, I start to treat them all the same. And if you enter in two different kind of trades, then it's two different exit strategies. So it's two different levels of paying attention that you got to do to these trades. So guess what I'm saying is I recommend like find a style and stick with that. And then when you master that, if you want to add different ways of doing things to it, then do that. But that's just my experience. Trading is so psychological, probably like 90, 95% psychological.
Yep. You gotta overcome yourself. Like that's why when we talk with Antonio, Pastor, he
And you always see people talk about doing shadow work. This shit is shadow work, yo.
yeah, you gotta get your mind right to get in the game, right? Because the money is more about, is about being patient and doing what you set yourself out to do and sticking to it, right? Like finding a trading plan and then sticking to that trading plan, right?
Discipline.
Yeah, because we talk about numbers all the time, right? If you trade with near the same, let's say you trade with $1,000 per trade, and you win 40% of the time and lose 60% of the time, you still can make money if you set your stop losses right. Small losses, bigger gains, right? But most people would rather win 60% of the time, and then almost 40% of the time, they let the whole trade die and they'll end up losing money because they don't like small losses. They would rather have a bunch of small wins and say they got a great winning percentage, but those big losses will eat up every dollar that they ever made. You gotta you gotta you gotta set your mindset to do it the other way because that's how you make money long term in the game. Small losses and bigger gains. So that is those big losses will drain your account. And all those little gains, you're gonna pay taxes on all those little gains. So not only are you gonna lose in your account, then the government gonna come punch you in the face afterwards. So, you know, take those small losses and those bigger gains. I ain't mean to tell your whole story, Ty. My fault, dog. But I'm just letting you know that's how it go. So, I ain't mean to get up here and preach, but I've been a part of that. So don't be me, be better than me.
You're not the only one. And if everybody honest, then it'll be a lot of us on here saying the same thing. So one of the things that I'm here to do is just to tell you, like we talk about Robinhood all the time, and just discussing the way that if you stay on Robinhood too long, you'll leave with habits and shit that kind of doesn't apply to anywhere but Robinhood, and it'll handicap you. So I wouldn't recommend anybody stay on Robinhood past today. Nah, and that's not shade. That's not, finger wagging. That is legitimately that shit will, it just kind of creates in your subconscious, like you'll be scared to take day trades. You won't want to get out of your trades because you'll be in that Robinhood mindset. And so you'll keep constantly experiencing, I'm gonna hold it to tomorrow. I hope my profit is still there. And then tomorrow the profit's not there, and that whole game. Take it from me. So hopefully some of y'all can relate to what I'm saying. But if not, you will.
You know I can. I remember last year. You told me to get out of a trade because I was up $11,000, and I was like, "No, I'm gonna hold it. I don't want to. I don't want to use my day trade."
I forgot all about, like, you for real would sacrifice $11,000 for a day trade, and that's they messed up your psyche when you think like that.
That's just dumb.
Oh,
these people got me so scared over this day trade that I'm gonna let them hold my $11,000. Hopefully y'all understand the point that I'm making and how sick that is. You and that day trade.
Yeah. Give my cake.
Right. Like, that's just terrible.
Give my cake right there.
Anybody that know me know every time I got unsuspended last year, I was suspended again. Give me my money and my restriction.
Yeah, do what you gotta do, but you gonna give me my money first.
But I feel like they like pick and choose though, because like you could be on there just out there acting crazy and they won't like suspend you, and then like sometimes they do.
I have never not been suspended.
Yeah, they will suspend you because it's law. They have to.
Right, they have to. I tried to talk my way out of it. I did that little making excuses thing. I didn't, whatever. And they was like, I'm sorry, this ain't us. This is above us now.
Yeah, that's FINRA. If they don't suspend you, their license will get suspended. They don't have a choice.
And so is that the reason why like most of y'all have like multiple accounts now? Basically, I'm assuming is because of stuff like that, right?
Yep, because if you suspend me for 90 days, I'm gonna take my money and move it for 90 days and then go get pattern day trader stuff on another joint.
And this is, I don't know if you guys know this, but this is what I found out because this is the kind of personality that I have. If you got Fidelity, for instance, and you get suspended, all you need to do is open a new account. That account is suspended. You are not suspended. Follow me?
Yeah.
Cool. And then transfer your money out of your suspended account to your new non-suspended account and keep doing what you've been doing.
But you can only have one what do you call those accounts where you can borrow money?
Yeah, that.
Yeah, those accounts.
Margin.
You can only have one margin account at a time. It won't let you have multiple margin accounts under your Same name, because I tried that a lot.
Not have any of them.
Yeah, and once you build your account up, you don't have to worry about that stuff at all.
That's cool.
So that's one of the benefits of like not having a bunch of accounts. If you consolidate stuff, so you can get your account to a certain value, we don't have to worry about that.
These are all facts.
That's true. That's absolutely true. Not just that, but all kinds of benefits come along with that. The more assets that you have with one. What else? Anybody have questions? Can anybody go to the live? Because we live on Facebook and see if they have questions.
I just reposted. Let me.
Were you live at on your page, Les?
Yeah, on my personal page, bro.
So Olive had a question on the Facebook. What advice do you have to get in the mind right? Can you hear me?
So I think that this is what I determined like a couple days ago, that the ideal scenario is just not to form bad habits from the beginning. But in order to do that, you got to slow down. And I know most people are past that point already, or have a real hard time slowing down when it comes to this stuff. But that's the best, absolute best way. It's just not to ever go to Robinhood, for example. To set your stop loss on every trade from the first trade, things like that. If you're beyond that, then you got to figure out. It sucks that if experience ends up having to be your teacher, but on this webinar every week we talk about the things that you can do. So you just could try to force yourself to do the things that all of these traders on here with much more experience than I have are telling us to do every week, like setting stop losses and getting off Robinhood. And if anybody else has any other similar suggestions, throw them out there, because I need to hear them.
What was the question again? I'm sorry. What was the question again?
Basically how to address your mindset.
Yeah, it says, what advice do you have to getting the mind right?
I mean, really, it's about lifestyle design. Like we say this a lot, but because this is something that me and Jim talk about consistently. You have to set your trades up to your lifestyle, right? If you got time to watch them, then you can do certain things. If you want to watch them, you can do certain things. If you want to be able to set them and forget them, then you have to set your trades up like your life look, right? If you got a job and you can't be in front of a computer at 9:30 every day, then you got to set your trading life up like that. So either you got to set your trades before the market, or you got to wait till you can get in front of it and then set it. And then maybe you got to give it more time because you're not looking at it, but you got to set it to your lifestyle. You can't just decide that you want to trade a certain way and your lifestyle doesn't fit the way you trade. You're going to lose a lot.
Yeah.
So it looked like what her main problem is.
Wouldn't you advise her to do stop loss?
Well, she is waiting and hoping for it to turn around. So like when she's down, like she's sitting in the trades and she's waiting.
Small
and
losses.
Ronnie said the other day, the mental stops don't work.
No.
You got to set
Right.
the stop loss. You have to, and that if you really think about it and you're really just honest with yourself about it, it's mathematically impossible to lose 100% on half of your trades or 3/4 of your trades or even a quarter of your trades and then take 20% on winning trades the other part of the time and last. And the only way to not have that happen is to set stop losses. And we all want to be right. And I wonder if LaRonda is on here, and I hope that this still rings true. But we were talking about stop loss this one time, and somehow I asked her, or her stop loss came up, and she said up there she go. She said it's 10% stop loss, and I just was so impressed, and I'm still impressed. And I've been trading since like 2014.
Yeah, I ain't setting no 10% stop loss.
But can you imagine the impact that that'll have on your trading account? All right,
Yeah.
take 90% of your money and buy it when it dip. Because buying it when the premium dip is gonna offset the loss you just took. Really, when you think about it.
And I still do it.
What's
I
up,
think
LaRonda?
I think for me, why I wouldn't set mine so tight is just because I buy time.
Yeah.
So I can see if I was just like day trading or it was something that I was only in for a hot second, then then I do the like 10%. Except I buy time. So I'm comfortable with saying, okay, I'm willing to lose 20 or 25%. I used to be crazy and I never used to stop them until I started to talk on here. But just 10 just seems like you're just not giving it room to kind of play out.
I think LaRonda is a gunslinger, probably. I know
Totally.
Yeah.
And I sat a lot. So
okay.
I just, and I'm also homeschooling my daughter. So a lot of times if I get distracted, that 10%, if it drops, I'm out. I can always go back in. But I ain't lost everything I put in trying to help my daughter get back on track,
Lifestyle trading.
From me,
And so somebody asked for 2 more tips about lifestyle trades. So just one is like, in some of these scenarios, you might want to trade like Crystal. You might want to buy leaps. You want to buy in the money and buy time, and do the OCO like the brothers that buy the hood. So you don't have to worry about it. Just kind of set it and forget it. So if your lifestyle is such that you can't be there watching for entries, then you want to trade longer time frame charts. Instead of looking to enter on a 15-minute chart or an hourly chart, you want to enter on like a daily chart.
Or weekly.
Right. You want to look for your setup on a daily or a weekly chart and trade contracts 6, 12, 24 months out. Now, you're not going to stay in it anywhere near that long. But I think I've thought about LaRonda and her 10% stop loss, but now that I bought it back up, it like really occurred to me how that 10% loss is going to be offset because you're going to buy that contract back cheaper at the right entry.
Yep. And then when she hit on it, it's going to hit for a larger percentage.
Can't go wrong. What else? I'm trying to think.
Yo, I have a Forex mentor that I jump on her calls. She has some free calls on Sunday nights, and he talks sort of about something similar, like where she doesn't get caught in drawdown on her trades, and like I think it took me about a year or two of being on them calls and listening to her for it to finally click in my head, because I went through my stock account and I looked at like how many trades I had in the red, or how many purchases that I have, even if it's a long-term investment. Like that means I'm not paying, because I know I'm not really paying attention to entries, but still should be cognizant of when you're at the top of something, and that's not a good time to buy. And for me, I would just buy stuff that I think like, yeah, this is going to be a good buy, but it's still, if I'm 50% down on something, that means I made a horrible decision jumping in when I did. So for me, I had to hear it repetitiously that you should not be doing this. You should not be doing this. You should not be doing this. And then eventually for me, I was like, damn, you know what? I should not be doing this.
That's how it is. And I didn't want to say that before, but a lot of times you just got to feel something over and over and over and over and over and over again. At least that was my experience. What else did I want to say?
It's called tuition, Les.
Facts, man. Listen, I have a degree from the most prestigious Ivy League school of L's.
Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks University.
But look, I'm still here, y'all. So
I think I got a degree from there too. I ain't sure if I graduated though.
Right? I'm about to say I'm still there, I guess.
Yeah, I gotta go talk to my professors to see if I graduated. Because I still be doing
I mean, I did something crazy on that GME. Like, I ain't even planning on telling y'all about that crazy trade I took just off of some nonsense that didn't make no sense. Just tripping. But however, I had to stop though. Y'all see that? So I mean, I got stopped out. But then it ran today, and I was like,
you can't do that. You can't do that. That's torture. And that'll keep you from putting your stop losses in. You can't torture yourself like that.
Oh, I wanted to say this too. Is like this is a lot about entries, right? Entries are really, really important, especially on short-term trades, but I believe even on long-term trades, just because they are. But entries is nothing more than patience, and patience is nothing more than psychology. So it all goes back to you got to get your mind right. And I really can't tell you what it's going to take to get your mind right because I'm still figuring out what it's going to take to get mine right. You feel me?
At least be honest, man. Like, because people be up here, they be gaming.
Now,
like,
this is not that, but y'all should know that by now. We've been at this for damn near a year. This ain't that. This is about what we do, what us as a people do, keeping it real with each other, talking candidly, but about something other than the bullshit that we could be talking about.
Sure.
Right.
I think the tips are that you need to definitely be patient. It's gonna take time. Don't rush. I mean, we used to stress that before in our webinars or whatever about rushing into trading and rushing to make money. And it's not a quick flip. This ain't gambling. It's not the casino floor where you put down $100 and you got 1,000 in 5 minutes. I mean, you can do that, but it's gonna take a lot of time and a lot of patience. And then the second thing is to stick to the script. So whatever you say you're gonna do, whatever numbers you choose, whatever it is, stick to it. If you're going to do 25-35 or 25-10, you know what I mean, win 25% of the time, lose 10%, stick to the script, because those things will save your life and your bank account.
Just at me, Jasmine. You ain't have to do that.
Discipline, man. Listen, patience, discipline.
People really think that because a lot of people, I believe that because it's becoming so popular, people are thinking, oh, this must be easy, or oh, this must be, something I can just go ahead and learn in 6 weeks or whatever the case may be. And it's not. It ain't that.
You know what I think people also want, and I'm guilty of it too. I'm still learning. I think people want fast money. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you have these people out here that's teaching people, what's the other thing? Forex, but they making money recruiting people, not teaching them how to trade. And I think that it's important that we understand the difference in that. You could go recruit people and make money doing anything, go get in an MLM or anything else like that. But when you're trading, you have to take time to perfect your craft. And I think I've been at this about 3 years, and I'll be learning stuff every day. Leslie, I'll be getting on her nerves. I'm in jazz, talking to Jasmine, Crystal, everybody, because I'm trying to get, I don't even know what I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get everything, but I'm trying to develop a style that works for me. I know my problem. Like I just said, those people that want the money fast, I want the money fast so I could go live the life I want to live, but it takes time. So every trade is not going to be a trade where you knock it out of the park. You have to be okay with getting 10% sometimes, because it's better than zero. It's better than negative. Mm-hmm. And I have to talk to myself. So I'm really talking to myself, not to y'all, but talking to myself.
That's how it is. I think a lot of times is, for me, I would say when I'm talking to y'all, I'm also talking to, or I'll say I'm talking to me, but I'm also talking to y'all because I feel like maybe y'all could benefit from the shit that I need to tell myself right now or remind myself of right now. Because even once you've been doing it for 3 years or 7 years or whatever, you still want to be greedy. You still want to have FOMO. Those things are going to happen. But it is about developing the ability to be disciplined, follow the plan, stick to the plan, get out when you said you were going to get out, some of those things that Jay has talked about consistently. And I think that the way that you develop that is with practice. And you have to spend some time doing it, pay the tuition, like Corey said. But the other side of that is if you start off doing it right from the beginning, then you save yourself a lot of time on having to undo or unlearn bad habits. So if you haven't started yet, then you are probably you're in the best position in the room right now. Because you still have the opportunity to learn to do it the right way from the beginning.
You're definitely right, because you know that YOLO mindset will come up real quick.
Oh,
Hey guys.
What's up, sis?
Hey.
No, you didn't log on from wish I would.
Shut up. Oh, can you go ahead and give my disclaimer since you're here?
Oh shoot.
Oh
Y'all
yeah,
did
because we
a disclaimer?
No, girl, we were waiting for you to get on the call.
Yes,
My
wait, sorry,
goodness,
y'all.
like an
Yes,
hour.
Danielle, yes. Danielle asked, do I recommend starting on Fidelity as opposed to Robinhood? Yes, Fidelity, TD, Schwab, name some other ones, y'all. Anywhere
any of the older brokers.
Even
Weeble, since that's where everybody like Weeble.
Not Weeble.
So wait, I'm sorry.
More
Go ahead,
money
'cause
with those.
Tanita is in Maui, so let's let her say her piece so she can go back to having fun.
Come on. I just wanted to come in and say, hey, I was trying to check in earlier to do my part and I missed it, so I apologize. But I wanted to check in and say hey to everybody. I have been listening in. Our second, third, fifth, sixth, everything's been said about, experience, and you're gonna take some L's, and just like anything in life, really, you're gonna keep taking some L's and just get back into it till you find who you are as an investor and a trader, and just keep it moving. Like I've said before, I've been in the industry since 99, 2000. I'm still learning myself. So you can't learn everything in a year, 2 years, 5 years. It's just impossible. Just like everything changes, we have to change with it and keep growing and learning out for everybody else. So that was the only thing I had to add to kind of what you guys were saying. And hopefully this time next year, we'll be having these discussions in person.
Thank you.
Okay, so real quick,
I really just wanted to get on
so
here and be like Spoon and have y'all listen to the birds in the background.
It's soothing. So our disclaimer is this is not investment advice by any means. If you don't know how to conduct an analysis, get with the person that recommended this webinar so that they can, lead you in the right direction. This webinar is for informational purposes only. We're not recommending any purchases of any company, any securities, none of that good stuff. Do your own due diligence, do your homework, do your research. Enjoy your vacay, girl.
Money.
Thank you. Y'all have a good day.
You too.
Enjoy.
Thanks.
Peace.
Happy birthday, Corey.
I wasn't
Anybody
talking.
got questions?
I love you.
Yeah, I got a question. what's the psychology behind buying something on a green day?
Buying on a green day.
Even when you're trying to like average in or whatever, I get it. But like, why would somebody tell somebody to buy something like when it's like at a high? And I had to like tell somebody that, and I'm like, I don't understand. Like, what made you feel? And then you sell on a red day. Like, what goes through people's minds? Even like when I was new, I never thought that like made sense.
The only thing I buy you on green days is covered clothes because I get better premium.
Okay.
But I have a question. So to that point, if you're just say buying Bitcoin every day, like I don't care what the price is because I'm getting some. I don't know this. I don't have the answer to your question, Chris. So let me just say that. But I know
averaging.
Yeah.
It's just averaging. I think that's really just what it is, because you're gonna get it. Some days you're gonna get it when it's low, some days you're gonna get it when it's high. Now to combat that or to average even lower, then you would buy like when Bitcoin was down, was that last week or something? I mean, it wasn't down, it was just down a little bit, but enough for you to be able to bring your average a little bit lower. That's what I thought people were doing. But
yeah, you can do bigger buys when it goes down.
This is the thing.
Daily buy.
When I started, I was like kind of obsessed with research and demonstrating for us the myths and the scare tactics that they've used. So some of the things that I discovered was like, I don't know, 90% of people will close, or higher than that, will close a winning trade before they'll close the losing trade. So things like that are really big factors that you are basically psychological. You have to combat them by, I think, experience and developing your strategy. But it's no way around it. Those are the facts. How can you combat that? How can you save yourself from that? Set a stop loss every time from the beginning.
I think that OCO order on TD Ameritrade is golden. I don't know if any other brokerages have it, but I still find myself going back to look when it hits like 30%, takes me out, and then goes back up in the right direction. I'm sick, but it stops me from wanting to keep holding on to the trade, because I'm a hold on to forever.
What's your stop loss percentage?
I don't know.
No,
how you know? Man,
no
you ain't used it.
comments.
Wait, what?
I mean, I think I do 30% on the side, on the downside.
If you are paying attention, then you do 30%, because like if
well,
you
I don't even do OCO all the time. So
oh my god, oh my god,
confessing.
I be bugging sometimes. I'm trying to get better. I wild out in the street sometimes, a lot of times.
See, but it's so, man, listen, I truly I thank y'all for that, because like I be less stressed over this stuff now, because I'm like, all right, well, like this is what it's gonna do. I set the stuff. I be forgetting that I even place trades sometimes, y'all, because it's done, and then I log in and be like, oh, okay, let me see what's going on. And I'm like, oh, I'm out of that already. All right, cool. Man. Like, it's just so much easier because I do work like during the day. So I can get caught up and I forget to go back. And before I know it, it's 4:00 already and the market closed and I ain't go back and look at something. So it's so much easier
to
just do it.
Yeah, so what'll happen is like I'll be in a trade and it hasn't hit my top side stop yet, and I'll be up like 20% and I'm trying to get 40. I'll set a trailing stop on that joint. I'm making sure I'll take, because normally I'll set an OCO order to start, and then if I'm up like 20%, I'll set a trailing stop on it. So I'm guaranteeing myself 10%. So I'm at the point where I'm winning, I'm never gonna lose. Because I ain't taking no wins to no losses no more. See, I did that a lot.
That's babe. I love Tanisha, you laughing. You know, trailer stops are everything.
Okay? Yeah. Like those like for me, because like I used to take winning trades, the losing trades, it'd be up 25%, and I'm trying to get 40, and then that joint would drop, hit my bottom side stop loss. I was like, hold up, I ain't doing that anymore.
But you know
Like,
what? I'm greedy, right? Because if I'm up 10%, I'm not setting no trailing stop. I'll be waiting until it gets to like 30. I was waiting for 35
listen,
today on the
if
trade.
it's up 10%, set your stop loss at your whatever you put it in, so you break even. Now you don't lose at all.
Corey, I know. Like
you don't gotta set it. You don't gotta set it right next to the where you at, but you just put it on your. You just set it right. Right where you bought it at. All right, you lost, but you paid for the trades. But
right.
You ain't. You know what I mean? Like you don't gotta lose 10-15%. Now that losing trade, now you seen it roll back. Now it rolled back to where your old stop loss was. Now you buy it. And now you can ride it back up, and now you didn't lose anything, and now you're making whatever money you're making. Now you don't lose at all.
You so smart, and I be knowing, but I don't be doing. I be out here.
Tisha, you just stubborn as all hell.
I'm about to say, I mean, ain't nothing, man. Listen, ain't nothing that we can help you with that. Then if you just ain't doing.
Yeah, I live dangerously all the time. Like it's just,
don't ever. I want y'all to stop talking about me. When y'all be talking about I be doing YOLO stuff, I am not living out here.
Nah, Corey, you do be out here living.
I do. I'm living. I do be living dangerously, but I trade with stops. So you know what I mean. Like I said, even if I'm wrong 6 out of 10 times, I still make money.
I mean, but Corey, you don't even like Chick-fil-A, so I can't even like
order wine. So I don't like either one, so it doesn't matter.
I can't take you serious, Corey.
Damn. I'm about to get slandered. But
yeah, no Chick-fil-A slander, yo. No Chick-fil-A slander.
See, Don, I appreciate you, Don. Thank you.
Chick-fil-A is true.
One of the things I want to.
Ain't nobody trusting Don either.
Don, you gotta chill, bro.
What you say, Ronnie?
I wanted to touch on the psychology of trading real quick. And one of the things that helped me was, first of all, being relaxed and calm. That helps me be a little more patient and stuff with my entries. And really, that's really the game, man, getting a good entry. And focusing on my execution. And sometimes you got to be able to think, you got to be able, once you looking for your entry and whatnot, now you got to have an exit strategy. Or if this happens, you got to have contingency plans and things like that for a trade. And definitely stop losses is a big part of that. And what stop losses do, I've discovered it does is it saves you from yourself. Because you'll say, yeah, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. No. Chances are you're not. Then you're going to be looking around and you're 40% down or something like that. And now you're playing cheerleader, trying to root it on to the finish line and things like that. So I just try to focus on execution of the trade and try not to overtrade. Sometimes that's tough. And that's a struggle within itself, but focus on the execution is, and that takes a lot of, thinking of different scenarios. What are you going to do if this happens? Just say if you're holding the trade overnight, what if the market turns, the futures is looking, going in the other direction? What are you going to do? Are you going to come right out? Or are you, all kinds of little different things like that, preparing yourself for different scenarios. So when you're faced with it, you know how to react as opposed to trying to, because you got to always be thinking on the fly. That's really what I'm saying. So I just try to prepare myself for what could happen and what am I going to do to execute this trade and be profitable.
Yeah, set that game plan. You said I guess you do have to kind of think on the fly, but if you got a game plan set, in your head or written down is really what you should do. Then it'll be much easier to execute what you're supposed to, as opposed to just kind of like, oh, I'm gonna enter right here, and then, oh, when am I going to exit? That should already be in your head when you're going to exit. Or if something, like you said, if something goes the other way or something different happens than what you thought was going to happen, you need to know what you're going to do in that scenario.
Hey guys, I think what's also helpful.
Oh my God, what's up, lady?
Girl, I've fallen off again, but I'm back for now. It's great to be back. But what I was gonna say is I found out that having a trading plan before you enter a trade is much more beneficial, obviously, than when you don't. And knowing when you're gonna enter, when you're gonna exit, when you're gonna exit, what your profit is, what you're gonna be happy with your profit, and setting that stop loss. I mean, that's, I don't know, I want to say, for me, it's been risk management. It's the best way that I've been able to minimize my risk and exposure. So that's just a little tidbit for folks that may be just starting out. And not only that, if you're first starting out, I threw up my guts the first couple of times I got into a live trade. It happens after a while. You're going to be calm and you'll be able to make better decisions.
Thank you so much. I was going to ask, I know there are a lot of people on here that are in chats and a lot of people on here that I know have been trading for just as long as I've been trading options or longer. So what would really make me happy is if more of you guys started to chime in. Because while I appreciate everybody that does talk every week, I think that the newbies and the newer people would benefit from having a wider perspective, because what might apply to my lifestyle is not going to apply to everybody's lifestyle. And likewise with Ronnie and Jim and Corey and Jazz and Crystal and Tanisha and the people that talk all the time, our lifestyle and our way of trading might not apply to everybody, but yours might. So
Amen.
Don't be shy. It's an open conversation. We welcome everybody's input, even newer people, because we can learn from, I learned from people who've been trading for less time than I have.
Well, I'll go. Can y'all hear me?
Hey, sis. Yep.
Hey, y'all. Before the baby starts screaming and stuff. Y'all have taught me so much. I just need y'all to know that every day I'm working towards bettering my strategy. I finally figured out what my strategy was and how I want to do it and how to incorporate with my, with all these 11 kids I got and my entrepreneur businesses and stuff like that. But so now I'm working on patience. I keep hearing y'all talk about that. I'm working on that, like really, really working on that. But I do want to say thank y'all for all the advice that y'all do give us, and let y'all know that I am listening, even if I don't be talking, because I got a lot of kids over here.
We appreciate you. When I say that, I think that what we intend to teach you guys on Tech Thursdays and just this week alone is going to make a big, 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 big difference. I'm not just saying that. I really mean that. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to make a huge impact. And I hope to see you guys Thursday. And if anybody has any feedback on that, like, we'll take it.
You probably put them jams in the mail slot.
Oh, I will say that you don't be afraid to say trading's not for me. Like, you don't have to trade like just because everybody else is trading. If you get into it and you just can't seem to get it, or it's just not clicking, or you're more frustrated than anything else, it's okay not to trade. I have learned that while everybody can trade, everybody can't trade too. So you know what I'm saying? It's like that it's not for everybody. And that's okay. So like don't actually feel like you have to trade options like just because everybody else is and they seem to be like so like successful in this, that, and the third.
I think the most important thing is investing anyway. I think that should always come first. And I think that if you can't invest, I'm proof that you could do. I mean, if you can't trade, if you find that it's not for you, you're not ready, or whatever the case may be, investing is where it's at anyway. You can get where you need to be. It might take you a little longer. Don said trading is not his style, and that's honest. I've never heard anybody really admit that. But you don't necessarily need to trade. How many thousands of percent are we up on different shares that we purchased over the last year? And don't even talk about crypto. Just buying and holding and going about your life the way you usually would. It's actually more than enough. We can't hear you.
Right, girl.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, how are y'all? Just got in and I just wanted to hop on. I heard you asking for some of the newer people to talk, and I just wanted to say thank you guys for Tech Thursdays. I haven't been able to watch my trades because it's the end of the school year and everything is crazy right now, but I have been able to look at the charts, and it finally clicked about what Ronnie was talking about with the higher highs and the higher lows. So thank y'all for Tech Thursdays. That's really starting to piece the pieces of the puzzle together for us. Hopefully, when school is out, I'll be able to trade a lot more.
I'm sorry, sis. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, I hit unmute all already.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
If you weren't done, that wasn't for you, Andrea, but we couldn't hear you, so you could unmute yourself again, sis.
I was just saying thank you to you guys for the Tech Thursdays. I was saying that it's been really crazy for me to trade. And I know you was talking about finding your trade and your trading style and what kind of works for you and your lifestyle. Right now, nothing works. It's the end of the school year, so I've kind of held off on trading. But I was able to look at the charts and follow the charts for some of the plays that Ronnie was going over. And it started to click with the higher highs and the higher lows. And I was able to start recognizing some of those patterns that we discussed. And I was saying that was really making everything click for me. Like I honestly don't know what I'm doing when it comes to technical analysis, but those little pieces kind of help us put it together to where, oh, maybe we should have entered here. Or if we were trading today, we could have played this. So thank you guys for that. We really do appreciate it.
That makes me smile, especially because that was just week 1. But yeah, that's what I was saying. Like these little things, you guys may be intimidated by or think that it's something complicated. But just these little things that we covered in week 1 made a difference. And if any of you are in our like all ladies chat, we kind of expounded upon the conversation on higher highs and higher lows, and I provided a lot of examples today. So if that hasn't clicked with you yet, definitely go play catch up in that chat. And as I said,
hold on. I didn't get added to the all ladies
somebody
chat.
CJ. Got it. Never mind.
Yo.
But nah. So before you go on your rant, CJ, as I was saying, before this weekend, I will start to do that on YouTube so that you guys can see everybody, the men, the women can all see some more examples of what it is that we talk about in the short time that we have on Thursdays. Okay, CJ? If you haven't registered, please register. That will put you on the list so that you can get the different plays and stuff that we might send out to people who have registered via email. So even if you're not able to attend live, you could catch the recordings on YouTube, but register so that if we decide to email a play, an options play for you guys, you'll get it. I will put the link in the chat real quick. Michelle.
Leslie, do we need to re-register if we registered for last Thursday?
Great question. Am I muted? No, I'm not. Okay. So no, that is going to entitle you to 7 weeks. I've said on week 1, like I know it's going to take at least 4 weeks. It might take 6 weeks. That extra week is if we needed to do a Q&A or something. So one registration is going to cover you for those 7 weeks.
This week on the Tech Thursday, I'm really excited about that because we'll be talking about support and resistance. And try to cook up some to really get that point across, drive that point across about. It's just let me not give it all away, but that's what it's going to be about. It's going to be real powerful, and I think and thank you, Andrea, for those words and whatnot. That's dope that it helps you that way, and that's what it's all about. What we're trying to do, and this week is going to be about support and resistance, and this is going to be a really good presentation. I think it'll help a lot of people.
Absolutely. AKA supply and demand zones, AKA institutional buy zones. We may have heard them called by different names, trend lines, et cetera, et cetera.
Institutional gang banging is what I call it.
Oh, Lord.
I'm ghetto like that.
Questions. Nobody? I don't know. Can somebody check the chat? I'm trying to get the link for Tech Thursdays for you guys.
So
I definitely have questions. He was talking about the emotional discipline part of it, and that really hit something with me because I have a tendency of just having money sitting in the account. I bought a few ETFs, but it's just kind of sitting there now, and I think that might be where I'm at. Like, just having some money sitting there is kind of getting too comfortable for me. I'm not taking that risk and organizing the trade because I don't know what to expect sometimes. So I'd like to hear him elaborate on that. Maybe walk through like somebody that just has $1,000 just sitting there, and how they would go to turning that $1,000 into, I don't care if it became 1,100 to 1,200, even if it's baby steps, but just walking through that emotional process for somebody, because I think that's kind of the barrier that I'm at right now. The wall, the glass ceiling that I'm running into is just that day to day. Like, it's just sitting there. I'm cool, but I really want to learn how to make me some money more often.
Y'all keep talking about stuff that we just talked about.
First of all, like, you gotta take the emotion out of it, period. So like that can't be in this at all. So like, you and your feelings are gonna have to part ways if you want to start trading.
Okay.
Be willing to part with it. Whatever you're gonna put on the table, you have it in your mind that you could be kissing it goodbye just as easily as you could be multiplying or flipping it.
Okay. To that, I would say, if you have money sitting by idly, like I have this thing, I don't believe in money just sitting in the brokerage, just sitting there, because I could just I could park it in a bank and get 1% for a year, right? At least it'll be doing something. So I would before I even get into the trading aspect about it, I would say that money could be some shares, and some things. Hard shares, you can never go, well, I shouldn't say you can never go wrong, but that's better than your money just sitting there. Invest in some quality, well-managed companies to help that money grow if you don't want it to just sit there. I don't believe in just having money sitting there.
I don't even believe
can
in
you
cash
recommend
anymore.
a few equities? Like, I mean, I'm not sure if they're ticker symbols or if you're talking about like ETFs.
Can a real nigga talk real quick? Before y'all mute me, right?
Oh wow.
I don't have none of those on here.
You coming in hot today, CJ. Hey.
Yeah, I appreciate getting muted. Now I'm messing with you.
You know, it's all love, CJ.
Yeah, but this is what I do. I'm not saying I'm like the best trader or nothing, because I'm not. I keep an account for trading. I keep another account for swing trading. I keep another account for long-term holds. I keep another account for short-term holds. So every account got something specific, like a specific goal. So that might help you, so you don't just have money sitting around idly. And that also helps me absorb.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Like, set up some other accounts and let that
Yeah,
account just be something I play with and check that out, and then set up another one,
exactly.
move it around, get comfortable just moving the money around, playing with it, not
Yeah,
losing anything, but having a different playground for every different aspect I'm coming at it. If I mean, like I have the ETFs in my Fidelity Investments account, so maybe I can send maybe 500 over to Weibo. I heard somebody
I
saying
would
something.
definitely suggest, Randy, that I just posted the link in the chat, that you go ahead and register for that course, because it sounds like that is most appropriate for where you are. And it's going to be painless. It's going to be a couple
Yeah, and I
hours on a
apologize.
Saturday.
I'm still catching up on how to get to the links and all of that stuff. I'm just on my phone, so I'm just seeing
It's
the
in the
picture.
chat. So if you
Yeah.
look at the bottom
Whose
screen,
Facebook friend are you on Facebook? And I can make sure that they get the link to you.
I'm JP's Facebook friend. I got
Jason?
James. Oh no, you probably don't even know him. It's just like, I don't know. The conversation came up.
We know you're talking about James Tompkins. Keep it real, nigga.
Yeah, listen, wait, y'all. I was already in the process of being in the process. Let's keep it moving because we are live on Facebook, guys, and I'm not a hater.
Hey.
So if you look at the bottom right hand side, click more, and then hit chat. And she put the link there.
No, Crystal, he's going, babe.
Oh man. Okay.
I'm trigger happy, everybody know that. And when he started stuttering and talking about JP and it wasn't Jason Palmer that I went to middle school with, then I kind of knew that.
Okay.
Like y'all still pressed, huh? Okay, moving right along.
Dang.
Moving right along. So that is great advice to have, CJ, to have those separate accounts open. I can't even keep it straight.
I can't even.
I can't. But
what y'all gonna do if I wasn't here? Nobody ever want to keep it real, huh? You know what I mean? You just gotta be
That's
honest.
why I appreciate you, CJ. This is such New Jersey behavior. But thank you.
I ain't mad at you. I was just saying that that escalated very quickly.
And de-escalated really quickly.
Leave it to Leslie is the straight de-escalation. Boop, next.
Yo, that just got out of hand fast as hell.
all right, for real though, that is great advice to have those separate accounts. Have something that you have long-term investments in, your short-term invest. So you're not commingling that money, and you have a better eye on what you're trying to do with each separate account or each separate investment. So that was some great advice, CJ. Thank you.
I think we got a
what
great.
I wanted to mention too, real quick, y'all, before I forget, is that Tech Thursdays is also very, very, very much appropriate for people who do not want to trade and just want to invest. I don't know if I need to explain that further, but even when you're just investing, you want to get in at the best price possible. Never going to be able to buy low all the time, but you want to be able to get in at the best price possible. And a part of what we'll do during this next 6 weeks is teach you guys how to use what we're showing you to do that on the investing side.
I think we have a great question in the chat. And I actually meant to ask this because I got a bunch of emails. So Antoinette Rain says, so for those of you who don't trade but invest, do you proxy vote and participate in earnings calls? I got a bunch of proxy emails like over the past week. And I'm like, I usually participate sometimes, but I would like to hear what you guys, more seasoned guys, think about that.
Because I'm the one that asked the question and I don't trade. I've got like portfolios, right? I've got a portfolio of stock in my Schwab, in my E-Trade, in my TD Ameritrade, in my I've got one more. Oh, my Fidelity. And I don't trade, but I get stock from like the company I work for. I'm in tech and they give us lots of stock. They give us our annual raise plus they'll give us like 50 grand in stock or whatever, right? So so not only my company, but all the companies that I own shares in, because I just buy stock. I always proxy vote and I always jump on those earnings calls because it's very important to me that I know what's going on. So I was just wondering, you know, for those that don't trade, are you making sure you're exercising, you know, your right to proxy vote when you need to, or get on the call and vote or whatever? And are you actually listening in to, you know, the big banking investors and what they're asking to know why your shares fail, or, I mean, you know, the stock price fail or whatever it is on those quarterly calls? So
I'll go first. I do not participate in any of that. To me, I don't know. I think if you do your due diligence and your research, and pick some solid companies that has a history of doing that, of being solid. So I kind of feel like there's no need for me to go over there because I kind of know what their track record. But that is something that I've always said that I was going to listen. I listened to an earnings call once. It was like the worst 34 seconds of my life. It's just too boring for me or whatever. I just rather not. I'd rather keep track of them from. I don't need to be that up close and personal with them. Maybe at some point I will get off into that. I probably should, right? But I just be a little too busy doing other things, market related. That's not one of the things that's even high on my list. But it's definitely something that I probably should start at some point doing as well. I think it's value in doing that. That's really what I'm saying.
For me, I kind of look at it based off what the company is. Like if it's a fast-paced mover, you know, Tesla or something like that, or some of the top the tech stocks, then yeah, I'll listen to their earnings calls. But if it's some of the, you know, I own Johnson & Johnson and Procter & Gamble, like what they're saying, I kind of already know. I have a feeling of it. So I really don't listen to those ones, but anything that's like tech related, I definitely listen to because there's always changes that's going on.
Yeah, and I'm on those calls too. Like, especially if it's a company that has a new CEO or new executives handling the call, because it's a lot of information. I mean, I actually, you know, sit on them Jones, try to ask questions. I'll be doing too much, but there's a lot you can learn from those calls too in terms of where companies are investing their money, especially a company that puts money in R&D, because that's a lot. That to me, that's a lot of great information you can find just on that.
Yeah, I don't know where they're investing their money, but a lot of times they talk about not just the next quarter, but the next year, the next 2 years, right? And
yes, this is absolutely true.
Goals and plans are, and then you know whether you're truly aligned or not. For me, that's why I jump on all my earnings calls to make sure, like, okay, yeah, or maybe I get out of this, you know?
Yep, yeah, I agree with you.
And just real quick, I do keep some like money on the sidelines though. So like I don't invest like everything. And I mean, I guess I never thought about it like the way that you guys were like talking about it. I'm sorry to like backtrack, but I just didn't get a chance to. But yeah, because like in my mind, I keep that money for things that like may come up. So like, let's say that I'm in I'll use for example, like I'm in a Ford something, and then like something else happens. And at that moment, I'm like, okay, I think I want to double down on this real quick. So I'll have that there because I've had a lot of times where I wanted to trade something or I wanted to like get something and I couldn't because I had to wait like for the money to transfer and all that stuff. So I just keep cash on the side. So like, I just kind of feel like, is that wrong or is that just something that?
Listen, cash is a position, right? If you look at a lot of the best investors and even companies that put their money to work, having cash is always a great thing because you never know what opportunities will present themselves. And you don't want to be cashing out of positions to jump in other positions. So building a cash positions is always a smart thing because you just never know what will happen from day to day in the market. So in order to take advantage of an opportunity, you have to have cash. Now, I know it goes against sometimes when you say I just don't want money sitting there not working, but cash itself is a position. And I mean, take a look at Berkshire's books and look how much cash they keep on hand. That's to when the opportunity presents itself, then you can really take fully advantage of that opportunity. So
and it's in a money market too. So I mean, it's not like it's just like sitting in an account.
So the thing is, you gotta like set yourself up so when something happens, is you never know what'll happen. It could be news that comes out, it could be something, and a great company will be on sale. That's how you fully take advantage of it, by having cash, not having to cash out of something else.
I agree wholeheartedly with what you just said, Jenny. I want to reiterate that what I was saying about, because the brother was saying that he wanted to basically like, should I just go trade my money or whatever? It seemed like he was a little reluctant to do that. So I was just saying,
no, you were right.
If you want to do something with your money, and you don't want to have it sitting around, then you don't necessarily have to trade. You could make some investment.
Yeah, your answer to him was correct based upon what he said. I agree with you as well.
Okay,
like, you're absolutely correct about how you told him, because he said he sounded like he wanted to do something, but he was just scared to pull the trigger.
It like trying to jump double dutch. He was like leaning in and out. Didn't know what he wanted to do. It was like, when you don't have to necessarily trade, because if you feel like that anyway, you're reluctant, you probably shouldn't do it anyway.
Yeah, absolutely correct. But and Crystal, I'm talking to you, but I'm also talking to myself, because that's something that I struggle with as well, because I'm always trying to put money to work. But and me and Corey have had these long conversations where I'm like, I gotta start holding more cash. So, and like a lot of people said, sometimes we be on here talking to ourselves.
I actually missed out, you guys, because I had cash to invest, but I had them everywhere but in the account where I would consider doing an options trade. And so when Leslie dropped those options trades on Friday morning, or late Thursday after the Thursday tech call, I didn't have the money there. And so I try and move the money around, hurry up and get it in there. And then by the time I finished, I missed the price point. And so consequently, I missed out on those two trades that she listed. So from this point forward, I mean, I got money. They're just not where they need to be so that I can execute quick trades. So I learned my lesson. I'm gonna put it where it needs to be so that when an opportunity comes about again like that, then I'll be able to do it. Fortunately, I didn't lose any money. That's the good part. But I didn't make none either. So
yeah, that's anyway. An example of that.
Yeah.
Listen, I gotta cut out, everybody. Thank you for your time as always, and I will be back here. I try to pull up on Thursday as well. So, but I gotta cut out real fast.
Well, peace and hair grease.
Appreciate you, bro.
All right, peace, y'all. I'll see y'all Thursday. All right.
See you tomorrow.
There's something I think worth noting for the people that are newer in trading. Your money is not readily available. So when you hear Miss Sylvia talking about she had the money, but it wasn't in her brokerage account. So it's kind of similar when you're trying to transfer money somewhere, it's not available the same day. So if you're trying to make a trade or trying to get into a trade, you have to have that cash in your brokerage account or you're not able to make the trade. And you could put the money in today. And I think sometimes it's the next day. Generally, it may take maybe 2 days or more, depending on your brokerage.
Fidelity and Robinhood, as soon as you say, okay, I'm dropping money into these accounts, they let you use the money right then and there. You just better have that money in the bank when they go to get it. So those are two places that I do know you can actually execute your trade on the same day that you make the transfer of funds. But it's better if the money is already there, like you're saying, so that you don't have to worry about waiting for the transfer to be set up. But once they set the transfer up, even before the money is transferred from, say, like Chase to Robinhood or Chase to Fidelity, they let you use that money that you say you're depositing. But it's better if it's already there, so you don't have to wait for that trade or for that deposit to happen. Uh-oh, what happened?
We still here.
Okay.
I was stuffing my
Miss
face.
India, that's the same. I mean, Miss Sylvia, that's the same thing that happened to me on Friday. The same thing. And then I thought I found a new trick. Yeah. Yeah, wasn't no damn trick.
Right, me
But
too. Me too. And then Friday at the end of the day at closing, it said, "Oh, your options trades have been canceled." I'm like, "Oh shit." Okay, so anyway, you live and learn.
right.
Questions? Anyone? Questions?
Hey, I got a question. Hello.
Go ahead, bro.
Can we go over some tickers like we used to do? Like we ain't did that in a while.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I bought some shit today, and I need y'all to look at it because I just jumped out there and bought it. So, have you heard of what's the name of this stock I bought? I bought CTRM. I didn't do no due diligence. I just bought it based on the chart. And CLSN. I bought that JKS that you put out there this morning in the chat. Y'all looking at it? Or,
Can you hear me?
I said, you're looking at it? You got a chart up? You can see it?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up. All right, somebody's putting them in the chat. I'm trying to pull up CTRM right now. What do they do? Do you know?
I don't know. You know, I just be seeing shit and I buy it.
I'll say this. The chart look good.
Yeah. I put you up on games.
Okay, what was the Cast and Maritime? I've heard of this one. What was the next one, CJ?
CLSN.
But let me tell you that when I say the chart look good, that can mean 1,000 different things.
That mean go buy it.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt, but you got to be prepared. The same on CLSN. That chart looks good to me, but you just got to be prepared to wait. Lots of times we don't have to wait that long, but sometimes we do.
I bought BIVI today.
V as in boy, V as in Victor.
No, B like Bivens.
BioVi Inc.
Yeah,
That
BioVi.
chart that chart looks good too, but in my opinion, it's more advanced than the other one. So it looks like to me, just glancing at the daily chart real quick, that it might retrace tomorrow or over the next day or two, and then it's going to bounce off the 200 and create a higher high.
And I was looking at NGA. I didn't buy that. And like Nancy, Northern Genesis Acquisition.
Oh, you out there.
I am.
I like that one too. That one looks more like the last one. That's a little more advanced than the first couple. So not bad buys, but if you bought shares, then just be prepared to be patient and take care of it.
Just sit on them. What about SEAH?
S is insane.
I didn't buy this. Yeah. Sports Entertainment Acquisition Corp. I didn't buy this, but I was looking at it because it gapped up really high.
Is that a spec, I guess?
I don't know. SEAH.
SEAH.
Mm-hmm.
Take note of these guys, because like the first 4 of them were penny stocks. So if you bought penny stocks with us before and had that experience, or you need to be in like a smaller cap or micro cap company as far as investing or trying to make some quick capital trading, then those first 4 that CJ named are good ones. This chart right here has a big gap. on the daily
Yeah,
chart, you can't miss it. So there's potential that that might fill that
it's
gap.
gonna come back. Yeah, I didn't buy it.
But once it
Crystal,
does, then it will be a great buy. When it does that, it'll be bouncing off the 10 moving average on the daily chart. And then hopefully it's also oversold, divergent, things like that. And then it'll be a good buy to take out the
What
high.
what 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 do you think about Drive Shack?
I
DS.
don't. What is it? DRIV?
Yeah, DRIVE Shack.
Just so you know, I don't think about ETF in general.
It's not an ETF.
It's not
No, this is an entertainment company.
DRIV.
Like the company name, I mean, the ticker symbol is DS.
No,
Yeah,
it's DS.
DS. I just said it.
DS,
DRIVE.
Incorporated.
you got to slow down, CJ, because we can't hear you. You're a little muffled. So we trying to make
You
sure we
can't
heard
hear
what
me?
you said.
My
Hello.
bad. I'm sorry. My
You're
bad.
not coming in
Can you hear me
clear.
now?
I can hear
DS.
you, but over the thing, D may sound like another letter. So D and S. Thank you, Antoinette.
You're
Go
welcome.
ahead.
All right.
pulling them up.
DRIVE Shack.
Got you.
With the
1
ticker,
second.
yeah.
285. And the lowest
DS.
3. Wait, how did that happen? Hold on. The lowest 285.
Today.
This low is 23. I don't know. You got a lower low on the 20th, 420. So now you just really wait and see whether it's going to create a higher high or another lower low next. You don't know what that is or what I'm talking about, then you want to go to my YouTube and watch the replay from week 1 before we pick up Tech Thursdays again on Thursday. But we are going to review higher highs and higher lows a little bit on Thursday. But so that's what you're looking for in DSCJ. It took out the low from April 20th. No, my bad. I'm sorry. There was a low on March 25th that it took out on April 20th. So now you're just waiting to see if it's going to take out the high from 4.8-ish, 4.748-ish first, or the low from 420. And that will tell you what your trend is.
Okie dokie.
Cool.
Crystal put a ticker in the chat. X1, X like xylophone, 1 ONE.
Oh, that's just a position for a 3D printing company. If y'all want to look at that one, the
XONE.
Yeah.
Look at the chart, sis.
If you want to look at their books too, they're pretty solid as far as they're like.
And you said it's 3D printing?
Yeah.
I'm into it. And the chart is, I love it. They got options, right?
Do they have options? I didn't even look at the options. I was looking at it to
find us a
buy shares, but
contract.
I'm pretty sure that they do have options, but there's not a lot of them.
Look, let's do a first. Let's do a first ever on Tuesday night, and let's drop an option contract for that.
So they only go out to December, which is fine. Their earnings is on the 5th of May. They're going to report earnings. I'm looking at the option chain too. I don't know what the pockets are like. I know that you'll go to December with me, I know, but I don't know what everybody else want to look at.
And so we could find a contract now. I would not, just because of the experience that I've had trading. So like this is on one of the reports, I'm pretty sure. So just because of the experience that I've had with like Digital Ally, I've been holding that Digital Ally call for a minute now. I would only want to buy Elite, but I think you need to do some research about how they perform at earnings and not just whether they make it or not, but like look at the chart and see if they make it, what do the candles do? What does the price do? If they don't make it, what does it do?
Yeah.
And then determine from there if you want to buy like a May or June contract. So we'll look at both, some shorter term and some
because
longer.
I bought hard shares. That was what I was doing.
That's what I would do.
I said that I was going to build I didn't even look at the options chain. So normally during earnings, it looks like I'm going back a little bit.
But check it out, guys, too, while Crystal was doing that, and I'm looking at the option chain too. The ideal situation is that you hit on an options play and you use that money to buy your shares. If you can't just afford to go out there and buy some shares, that's one strategy that you can use. And y'all can talk while we look through this option chain. You can look through the option chain yourself if you want to.
Spiked up, but then it came down. It didn't really do nothing.
There's so many, it's like the contracts are so similar in terms of open interest and price that I would let you guys, those that can, look at the December 21st expiration date for yourself and pick what price you want to be at. It's trading at $24.67 right now. Of course, the closer to the money, so like a 25 strike price would be ideal, but I'll tell you for December, that's going to cost you $680.
Let me look at tip ranks real quick. I ain't even pulled the tip
What stock are y'all talking about?
X1.
X1. Okay.
Well, it's XONE. If you were looking at June, I would definitely go close to the money. So let me see real quick. You got $25. Just to give you an idea, is $3.50. And I'm gonna do a search through Trade the News real quick too.
Wow. So tip ranks has them at the high of 50 over the next 12 months, the average 44.25, and the low of $37. I'm buying that December and I'm buying some more shares.
So this is what I'll say about that. This is one of those situations where you should be able to go to both the June and or the December option chain and pick a contract. The general rule with that is the closer to the money, the better. And of course, you want to make sure that it has high open interest. And I didn't realize that a lot of people weren't aware that you want to make sure, always want to check that your open interest is higher than your value. That's really important. And if anybody needs to know why that's important, go ahead and ask. But if not, we can just move on. But as a rule, you want to make sure that your open interest is higher than your volume before you buy a contract.
So the open interest
and listen,
and the volume,
depending on what time frame that you're looking at, Chaz, is going to be low, because what you'll notice is if you look at the next available expiration date, is high. So as those expire, it'll move to the next month. So the volume will get higher as the contract ages. So volume is kind of important, but when you're talking about further out contracts, as long as there's volume in May, you can safely assume that when May expires, it's going to move to June, and when June expires, it's going to move to July, and so forth.
Yeah, because like right now I'm looking at the June and then I'm looking at August, and it looks like the open interest is in August, but it's out of the money, which I don't want to go that far.
Does anybody have questions about, so Crystal Williams, I'm guessing that is, as which platform did you get that info from? So just type for me real quick, which info you talking about? And I'm gonna try to find, what was I just looking at? I was looking on the option chain on Webull. But anywhere you're able to trade options, you will be able to see your open interest and your value. On Robinhood, it's a little more complicated to see it, but let me know what you're asking, so I'm not just talking about stuff that you don't need to know.
Do you guys suggest going out of the money because it will take longer for gains to come? Is that why it's better to stay in the money?
So this is just the ideal situation in general is always to be the closest to the money. One of the reasons is, and I'm not going to explain this tonight, but if you guys remind me, we'll talk about it on Thursday for Tech Thursdays, is because the delta is high, closer to the money. Another reason is because when you're closer to the money and you have a longer expiration date, if it moves against you, it's not as damning to your premium. Whereas,
That makes sense.
What's the other thing? Did I answer your whole question?
I think so. Your answer made sense to me. Thank you.
Another thing being in the money does is it gives you safety from theta. If the theta isn't so bad, the time decay isn't so bad on you on your contracts as well. So that's something that also, as long as it's going in your direction, if you're in the money, you're pretty good. There's kind of like no need to panic and whatnot. You know, keep riding the train. The name of the game is get in that money. That's what I've discovered is the best profit. That's the best way to get profitable in a trade. You know, buying contracts that's $15, $20 away, and the price only runs maybe $4 or $5 a day at best. You know, you kind of putting yourself in a situation where you're going to lose by trying to buy a cheaper contract. When if you would spend the money to get at or near the money, if you get $2-3 an uptick, your payment is, per dollar, the delta on it is much better, and you'll get a better return that way.
Let me just add to that. This is in general is great. It's the safest, it's the best risk management strategy that you can have to buy in the money with as much time as possible, right? But sorry, what did I want to say? Oh, so it will apply more to, in the money will apply more to somebody who wants to get paid quickly. If you were one of the people who said tonight, and I just want to be in and out, I'm a day trader, I'm not good with long-term trading or swing trading, then the quickest way to get paid is to be at the money, because you're going to be at the money that much more quickly. Follow me?
I do.
So you can, if you want to kind of do a trade-off for, if you're buying more time, you can get a little more out the money. But if you can afford not to do that, then buy both. Buy in the money and buy as much time as you can. But if you had to sacrifice one for the other, if you're going to buy time, then you can go a little bit further out on your strike price. But if you want to make money, you want to cash your trade out today, tomorrow, then you want to be closer to your strike price. I mean, to the current price, which is strike. Is Rachel on here yet?
I am. I'm just having tech issues with my camera.
Do you think, sis? So like I said earlier in the call, the ladies had a long call about a legitimate income opportunity, work from home, actual business that Rachel is going to talk about. And I'm not sure, Rachel, if you wanted to do it while we were still co-ed, or if you wanted to wait until the guys left, or how you want to do that. But
I can do a little summary, and then if the guys are interested in it and they want to ask me questions or what have you, they can do that. But I can give a brief breakdown.
Okay, well, real quick, let me do like one final spin.
Sure.
For questions. If anybody has questions about anything that we did not discuss, or anything even that we haven't discussed, either unmute yourself or just put it in the chat real quick. And if your question is already in the chat and we haven't addressed it, we missed it. So if you wouldn't mind, just type it again.
I got a question. Is this business opportunity only for women?
No.
No.
Okay. All right, stop hating. I'm interested. Let's go.
All right, so I think you kind of addressed this, because I think in my head I was really stuck on being in the money. But if you've done your due diligence and you feel that the stock is going to move somewhere, it's safe to go out of the money, you'd say?
Oh, I'm sorry. Come again, brother.
Yeah, my bad. So I'd kind of been stuck on getting options in the money, but if I've done my homework and I kind of feel like the stock is going to move a little bit, then it's not a bad idea to be at the money or even a little out of the money if I feel like the stock's going to move past that.
If it moves past if you're expecting it to surge in your direction, right? Let's say it's trading at $70, right? And you expect it to get to $80, right? For whatever reason. Yes, you could get a $75 strike or $80 strike and anticipate it coming there. I mean, anticipation of it getting to where you think that target of $80, right? And you'll buy a cheaper contract. However, if you would have bought the $70 strike price where it was right there at the money and it runs up $10, you're gonna get a better return.
Right.
So it stays the same. You know, get as close as you possibly can to the money and catch a run. Because I'm gonna give you an example. Actually, you know, I got in a Baba. I grabbed the Baba call. I grabbed. It was a little bit away from the money, about $10 away from the money. Now it kind of stalled on me for 2 days, so it really didn't go anywhere. Then today, Baba kind of ran, right? But by the delta on the contract not being that much, by how much money you make per dollar that the price of the price moves up, wasn't that much. It was only like I'm just gonna guess like $15 per dollar. I didn't get that much of a return as I would have gotten had not gotten some that was in the money or very close to the money.
Okay.
So you always want to try to get as close as possible to the money, you know, unless you're doing like a long swing. So then it comes to strategies and things like that. But ultimately, even with those, you know, you still want to get as close as you possibly can to the money.
I got you.
Right, it's more money that way if you get it there. To answer Sylvia, so
Hey, real quick, sorry, Rachel, the link that you need is in the chat.
to answer Sylvia, so you know how like when you're online and you're looking at the options chains, how it shows oh my goodness, it's either blue or gray or green or something. It's like this like shaded area.
Yes.
So yeah, so like that's in the money.
Okay.
And that's also at the money. So like you have
Okay.
to look at that one that's like right in between there. So like when it turns over from the shaded over to the non-shaded, it's gonna be at, and then if you go like deep into the shading parts, so like that's the way.
Okay. I will study.
You'll know. So like that's why like people say, oh, I'm deep in the money. So if it's trading at $20, but you buy like a strike price of $10 or $5, so it's already like in the money. It's deep in the money at that point.
Okay.
Yep. So anything below the current share price is in the money.
Okay.
So for example, if it's trading at 25, 24, 23, 22 are all in the money, right? 26, 27, 28, maybe up to 30 are what we call near the money, or we might type NTM. And then OTM, out of the money, is anything beyond that. Your safest options play is always going to be in the money.
In
That's
the money.
playing puts or not. Your second safest options play are going to be near the money, or otherwise known as at the money. The riskiest option plays you can take are going to be out of the money. So I think Crystal was saying that, and maybe the other Crystal too, were saying that like their initial trainer or who they learned from taught them not to go more than 3 strike prices away from the share price. I don't think that's bad. But with the caveat that if you're buying a contract with a year on it, then you can sacrifice on the strike price, if you will, and go a little further out of the money because you have more time to get there. But as you guys learn a little more technical analysis and how to look at some of the fundamentals of these companies and what they're doing and just where we are in the economy, it'll be easier for you to judge where it's going and how long it's going to take to get there. And so one of the things I do, like Ronnie said, is if I look at a chart and I determine that my target is $80, I think it's going to get to $80 today, then I'm going to buy at 75.
Okay, I understand. You guys broke it down really simple. I got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Rachel, you ready?
I have another general question. Okay.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Danielle.
I'm sorry, I ask a lot of questions.
We like questions.
I get, this is a very basic question. I understand the concept day trade is you get in and out your trade on the day. I don't understand exactly what the term swing trading refers to.
So swing trading
is that just staying in the trade longer than the day?
Pretty much.
Okay. Okay.
Pretty much. You might hear people say intraday trading, just the same thing as day trading. You might hear the term scalping. Scalping would be like where you're in a trade anywhere from maybe 5 to 30 minutes or something like that. But so what I'm have always been cautious of and want to remain cautious of is that we don't rush anybody and encourage anybody to start beyond where they should be starting, right? So if you do not have an investment account that you have selected for long-term wealth, then I do not recommend that you start trading. If you need to, or you need help with setting up an investment account, because I think that's the foundation of everything. And I learned that backwards. I put the cart before the horse. So I always tell people not to do that. On April 15th, we're going to get it all done. You will know how to select sound investments and build generational wealth in 2 hours or so, we'll say. So definitely do that. But even if you're not at that stage and you feel like we talk about trading a lot, keep coming, because the more that you participate in these conversations, the more you'll be able to benefit from them when that time comes. Feel me? Make sense? So don't let us rush you talking about all this stuff. Don't let us rush you into doing something that you're not ready for. But we are more than capable of getting you ready. Just reach out to somebody, one of us, me, Ronnie, Jazz, anybody, whoever invited you here, and we'll get you on the path. And then I always say, in the meantime, to prepare yourself for when you are ready to trade, just set up an automatic deposit into a trading account every week or every 2 weeks, however often you get paid, of $25, so that in 6 months, when you are ready to start trading, you got a decent size account to start with.
That makes sense also. Okay, I only have set up a Robinhood, and based on conversations I've heard here this evening, I'm thinking that I should be starting with more. So I'm going to start looking into that.
Definitely, at the bare minimum, delete the Robinhood app and get Webull. And the only thing that I really have against, well, I won't say the only thing, but the main thing that I have against Robinhood is that I feel like it creates psychological blocks and barriers that are going to hurt you later on. So we can avoid all of that by just not having those experiences and creating those habits on Robinhood to begin with.
You know, another thing about Robinhood that I tell people a lot when they're just learning to even invest, there's a lot of decent information. However, Robinhood does not have beneficiaries. And so whatever money you have in Robinhood, if something happened to you, you died today, you're in an accident, whatever, that money goes to Robinhood. You cannot set up a beneficiary for it to go to your children or anything, where an E-Trade, a Schwab, you know, a real brokerage account, right? You have beneficiaries. So like I've got nieces and nephews and kids, and I've told them like, okay, you started out in Robinhood, now transfer your money somewhere else. Or even like M1 and do your automatic or whatever, but don't stay in Robinhood because there are no beneficiaries on Robinhood. So your money goes back to them should something happen to you.
And that's the other thing that is important about us. I can't speak for everybody, but I'll say in general, in our network, this is not about a quick solution or a get rich quick scheme. Everything that I do, I'm doing thinking about my children and my grandchildren. So of course, one of the things that you have to consider, if that's your focus and if that's what you're thinking about when you're doing this, is it going to be simple for them should something happen to me? I don't want Robinhood complicating my kids' lives while they're grieving.
Right.
Right. I have a question really quickly, and it's kind of pivoting, if you will. Can Leslie or anybody that with experience, can you talk about maybe balancing? I don't know, I'm at the point now where I don't even want to buy stocks. I want to spend all my money in crypto. Do you guys balance this thing out? Do you buy a little bit of crypto and then you did with Evelyn stocks? Like, I don't know, Leslie, you put me on the crypto and I'm like, it's my favorite thing to invest in now. I know it's riskier, way riskier than stocks, but how do you balance, how to invest, where to invest as it pertains to crypto or stocks or stocks, without just kind of going crazy? Because you guys see the crypto market has been going up and down, which I'm going to assume it hasn't been doing this, for, ever, or for at least for the last 3 years. But yeah, can somebody speak about that a little bit?
For me, and I'm gonna be real quick because I want to hear other people talk and respond to that question. But for me, it goes back to what I was just talking about. What's your goal? So, and then the other thing is, where did you learn and what did you learn? Because a lot of what I've done so far is because of the training or the brainwashing that I had, right? So, when they turned me loose in the stock market, my objective and my perspective was I need a surplus 20 and I need to invest in it faithfully because that's going to take care of my children and my grandchildren. So what happened for me was then I doubled back and I asked James, yo, how many companies are you invested in? And he said hundreds. And so then came pie number 2 through 10, right? But because we took crypto course in like 2017, I had been invested in that as well. I have NFTs, I got LeBron cards, I got all kinds of shit at this point, very diversified. And I don't have any intentions of touching it unless I have to. So as you can expand, and I don't want to learn crypto. I don't want to know about the blockchain. I know enough about it. I know where it's applicable. I know where it's going to be useful, and I know that it's going to appreciate. So I know I need to buy it. So I just be like, Russell, what I need to buy, and Russell tells me what I need to buy, and I PayPal Russell. So I say that to say I don't spread myself thin trying to be an expert at everything or claiming to be an expert at everything or knowing everything, but I do know that I need to be diversified and I know that I need to be in crypto. So if you're just a techie and you like that kind of stuff, then go learn crypto and then come ask Leslie what stock to buy. But if you're the other kind of person, then learn stock and go ask Russell or Bitcoin Blockmaster or one of those guys which cryptos to buy, and they'll tell you, and then just hit them off when you win. Precious metals. I own precious metals. And these are conversations that we were having last year when this was on Lon's call. But precious metals, I think that we should all, when we can, expand into real estate. That's the goal of this, is to be able to build wealth. And I think that wealth includes all of those things.
I wanted to chip in and say something to Crystal about the crypto. I'm very much in the same boat, Crystal, where I find that I really enjoy furthering what I know about crypto. And I've learned some things, and I did take the course, the crypto course. And that's where I'm spending most of my time learning, because I know that I'm not learning at the same rate with something with stocks that I am with crypto, just because I'm so interested in it and it's got me so hyped. So I still have like, I didn't finish my 720, but I have some of Leslie's reports that are my portfolio and other stuff. But my focus, I'm not going to say it's 100% crypto, but that's what I'm committing to continue learning about. So I'm right there with you.
So for me, I have a number just because like that's like how my brain works. I have like, I have this like for the stock market, I have this for crypto, I have this for like my REIT. And that's just kind of how I allocate. It's not based on like what I have like an interest in. It's just, it's kind of based on, okay, these are the like vehicles that I need in order to build wealth. So like, for example, I'll say, okay, I know that the stock market's not going anywhere, but I know that it's also 200 plus years old, right? So while I may have to put $500 a month or $1,000 a month in stocks, crypto's brand new. It's still like all the way at the bottom. I don't have to allocate as much money there because it has so much further to go. Mm-hmm. And then as far as like precious metals go, I'm behind on precious metals. So I do find myself putting more there too. So I'm putting like way more there. And then for the real estate, I'm still learning, trying to figure out what I want to do as far as like real estate goes. However, I do like put money on this like private like REIT. So I do have the exposure, but I hope to like buy land. I want to do like land investing. So like that's what I'm learning now. And so you just got to kind of think about it, not so much as like what you're on like right now as far as, oh, you love crypto, that's fine, except you do want to put your money in like, I don't even know, like what's the word that I'm looking for?
Asset classes?
Classes, yeah. Yes, like you do like want to diversify. So that's just how I do it, is that I think of my number. I think of, okay, I'm gonna put like 50% here, 20% here, blah, blah, blah percent here, and then stick to it.
Yeah, that's some sound advice. I think I'm just so excited about crypto. And at first I didn't know what I was doing. I was just kind of buying stuff. And now that I know how to research, I know how to find these white papers. I kind of know how these projects, like Leslie said, how they're going to be applicable to problem solving in certain areas. I don't know, it's exciting. And not only that, but I kind of find that I get, my returns are just way quicker in crypto than they are in stocks. So I don't know. And also, I just went and got my real estate license just to be able to buy and flip.
Nice, congratulations.
Flip my own houses. Yeah, like I don't even want
to get mine back too.
Like yeah. I know this market about to be crazy. Yes, babe. Hold on a second. So I appreciate the input from everybody about how to, I guess, balance, if you will, and diversify, because I'm really struggling over here because I'm the crypto girl at this point.
So a couple things, right? I think that no one could have said it better than Crystal said it, is she called them vehicles. So if you want to drive up a mountain, there's a certain type of vehicle you need, right? Convertibles and motorcycles are appropriate in certain weather, in certain situations. So think about coronavirus and Amazon and how just the circumstances, all of the circumstances that COVID-19 created and what it did to the share price and the sales and the revenue of Amazon. So Amazon was appropriate for this kind of weather in our economy. Think of precious metals as like that 4-wheel drive, all terrain, all weather thing. You know what I mean? So you have to kind of, or you would want to be prepared for any circumstances. And the way to do that is by buying into all the different asset classes. The other thing that I wanted to say is you can't go wrong with doing what you're passionate about. So my perspective and my opinion is if you're passionate about crypto, then what's appropriate for you right now until you become equally as passionate about stock research is that you focus on crypto and you defer to somebody who's passionate about stocks. It's how the world works. We pay somebody to do our hair because that's what they do, right? That's what they love and they're good at it. Same thing applies here. Don't have to be me, but you cannot go wrong with doing what you're passionate about. And you see it with so many people that I will not name again. But if you're passionate about crypto, then do crypto and then come to these calls and tell us what you know about crypto, because I don't care. You know, and oftentimes I'll get recommendations and I don't even have the time to go look at the recommendations and I miss out on stuff because I'm a stock person. But you guys that are passionate about crypto have your place in our community. We need you guys. So do that.
That's what's up.
I think that, Crystal, you were asking about the balance piece. And for me personally, I think just like with anything, you have to have balance in your life. You can't like sit up and eat everything that's going to cause you a heart attack and not exercise or drink water or whatever and think that it won't affect your health, right? So find what is your balance and do that. And like Leslie said, if it's passion for, you know, crypto right now and later you'll do more into stock, me, I'm a stock purchaser and I purchase shares. I don't trade. I do purchase crypto as well, but I'm more cautious with crypto. And so I try to be balanced and, you know, I always buy stock, but now other things are here and I have children. So I own several pieces of real estate because I have 4 grown children. I got to leave each of them a property, you know? So I've made sure that I've purchased enough along the way, a couple townhouses, a house, whatever, so that they each get a property. And then I, of course, have always talked to them about stock. And instead of when they were little buying, you know, Xbox or whatever, no, let me buy you some stock shares in Sony. And so those kinds of things for me in my life, and I'm 55, but that's been what you know my balance looks like. So I think you just have to find what your balance is and run with it.
Absolutely. I have not forgotten, by the way, that I would love for you to come on and speak about what you and I spoke about at some point, sis.
Okay, yeah, I didn't forget either, but you're right, I will.
Great. Unless anybody has any pressing questions that are going to make or break your account tomorrow, we can roll right into what it is that Rachel wants to share with us, and she's going to give a brief summary. So everybody stick around for the summary. And then if you want to hear more details, then stay after that. But I'm going to go ahead and mute myself. This is Rachel Artist, brilliant sister. And go ahead, Rachel.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I'm going to give a summary. As Leslie said, my name is Rachel Artist. I own what I call an editing agency, and the name of it is So Firm and Associates. I've been in business for about 10 years doing what it is that I do now, and I have a pretty successful business doing it, and it's something that someone can do without doing it on the scale that I do it. So what do I do? So the name of what I do is called Scoping, SCOPING, and we are scopists. And what we do is serve the court reporting community worldwide. So my focus mainly is in the US, but I have clients in UAE, France, and Canada. So what we do for court reporters is we fix their mistakes. So court reporters type of up to speeds of 225 words per minute. So to kind of give you some lay terms, a court reporter is the same as a transcriptionist. They type everything they hear. But the court reporters accomplish it in a more efficient way. And that's by typing in shorthand on a stenography machine, or a steno writer, as they call it sometimes, instead of a transcriptionist who actually types all the words out on a QWERTY keyboard, one letter at a time. A court reporter can type up to 5, 6, 7, 8 words at one stroke, is what it's called when they press on the keyboard. So anyway, that's what they're typing. The other difference between a court reporter and a transcriptionist is that the court reporter can't rewind, stop the audio, and hear what was said again, because they're doing it live. So if you haven't ever seen a court reporter before, they're the ones that are sitting close to the judge somewhere in the courtroom on shows such as Law and Order, or any court show you've ever seen, with the little tripod and that machine kind of in between their knees typing. And so that's what they do. And they are typing each speaker. That's why they say speak one at a time, etc. After they are done and they get off the record, they have to work again the next day, and they don't necessarily have time to listen to the audio all over again and fix their mistakes, because yes, they did make mistakes. They typed clown instead of brown. They forgot to enter when Mr. Smith interrupted and Miss Brown started speaking. They dropped a whole line or a whole exchange. And so our job as scopists is to clean that up. So we edit those transcripts for the most part to full audio, meaning we're listening to the audio, we are reading what they wrote in English, and making sure that those two match, that it is verbatim, that what they wrote and what we hear match. And that's what a scopist does. We use the exact same software that the court reporter has connected to their laptop and their machine. So as they're typing in shorthand or steno on their machine is connected to their laptop, and a software is running that is actively converting their shorthand into English that you and I can read. Court reporters, there are 3 categories of court reporters, if I can say that. First is freelance, meaning they go out and do all depositions, they do arbitration sometimes, and they can go to court sometimes, but for the most part, they work for a minimum of one agency that has attorneys calling them directly, and this agency is sending court reporters out to handle jobs that are not actually happening in the courthouse yet. They're kind of still in the discovery trial prep phase. Then we have official court reporters. Those are the ones that, yes, they are assigned to a judge. They are in court Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, 24/7, taking down the record. And then the third category is closed captioners. They are also taught as court reporters, so they qualify as a court reporter. They are typing in shorthand. So everything you see come across the bottom of your screen, a court reporter is somewhere typing all of that at speeds of up to 225 words per minute, typically. And as a scopist, I actually got the opportunity to support the 93rd Academy Awards this past Sunday. And what you saw come up on your screen, the transcripts that were delivered worldwide to media outlets, I was able to support that effort to make sure those transcripts came out accurate. All the names were spelled right, and the formatting matched the Academy Library standard. So that's what I do. That's a summary. And I guess if everybody has any questions, you can ask me before I continue, or any clarifications you need. Thank you.
So what opportunity do you have for us?
Okay, so I did give a brief summary earlier to some of the ladies about what we do. So I did ask for the ability to be able to share my screen, but due to the nature of the transcripts, I don't know if I can stream it. So I'm wondering what everybody
Okay.
thinks about that. I don't know if maybe Jasmine or Leslie can let me know.
I'm sorry,
their thoughts.
Rachel, what did you ask?
So I want to be able to share my screen and show people what scoping looks like in my software, but some of the information is sensitive. So I can share it, but I don't think I can stream it.
Okay, got you. So if you are interested in this opportunity and you're watching on Facebook, then you can reach out to Rachel Artist, but we will be ending the Facebook stream now. Am I understanding that that's the issue, Rachel?
Yes.
What about the recording?
So as long as everyone that's in the chat can type me something that says, I agree to not share this in any form, we are covered.
Yeah, but that's just the chat. So like if the recording is still gonna go on, that's gonna be like something that anybody
Yeah,
else
that's
can
true.
see.
Anybody can see it. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I can try to do then is just share a transcript that's redacted. And that should be fine as long as there's no names or anything. So I can move forward that way if that works for everybody.
Or we could just stop the recording because at this point, the information
You know what? You're right, because they can just reach out to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Important
And
information's out there.
when I post this video on Facebook, I will leave the information that people need to do that. So I will go ahead and stop. Thanks, guys, for making that easy.